Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? This is Watch, and in this video I'm going to be comparing what I consider the top 3 Google Android Wear devices that are available right now on the Play Store. The first one is the Asus ZenWatch, the Moto 360, and the LG G Watch R. So if you're interested in getting a Google Android Wear device, I think these are the best options for you. But let's go ahead and actually take a look at each device and see which one comes out on top, all things considered. Now the design and kind of look of the Asus ZenWatch is a little bit of a departure of what we typically see in most Google Android Wear devices. It has a very elegant kind of look towards it, although definitely there'll be personal issues with certain people that don't or do like the design. I think it's very reminiscent of what we saw in the Apple Watch that's going to come out soon, and certainly perhaps Asus kind of took a look at that design and then were designing a smartwatch and they got a little bit inspired to kind of go that direction. And when we compare it to the circular designs of the Moto 360 and the G Watch R, I do have to say that it's definitely going to be dependent upon your personal preference, whether you like a more kind of rectangular look or a more circular look. So far at this point, my favorite smartwatch design is the Moto 360, but I can definitely appreciate the subtle and elegant look of the Asus ZenWatch. Now side by side, we can notice that the Asus is the larger device out of the other two, measuring about 51 millimeters in terms of overall height and about 40 millimeters in terms of its width versus about 46 millimeters in terms of the diameter of the Moto 360 and about 46.4 millimeters on the LG G Watch R. In terms of profile, the Asus is the thinnest, measuring only about 7.9 millimeters versus about 11.5 millimeters on the Moto 360 and about 11.1 millimeters on the LG G Watch R. Now in terms of the weight, the Asus and the Moto 360 are pretty much identical at about 50 grams, and the LG G Watch R is heavier than the two, measuring about 62 grams. So that 12-gram difference, some people may feel that on the wrist, others may not. I fall into the category that does not feel a 12-gram difference, especially when it's on my wrist. Now, one thing I do admire about the LG G Watch R's design is that it kind of disguises itself as an outdoorsman or sporty watch that kind of fits the motif of what you'd find most watches that are designed for the outdoors or have a more sportier look. And if you want a watch that doesn't look like a conventional smartwatch and it looks more in the lines of a traditional watch, the G Watch R could be a good choice for you. Now the Moto 360 is definitely more obvious in terms of its smartwatch design. It has a larger 1.56 inch display which comes with a beveled glass edge around the watch, which kind of gives a weird kind of aliasing effect on the screen, which doesn't look as pleasant as it does in the commercials. Now, as you may have noticed, the Asus ZenWatch has a very subtle curve all around the watch. Specifically, from top to bottom, there is a gradient that makes the overall use of Android Wear a little bit easier to use. If you used any kind of Wear device, you know that there's a lot of swiping back and forth to navigate through the menu. So having a curved watch face definitely makes things a little bit more easier and kind of more intuitive to use than having a flat overall surface. Now, all three of these smart devices are made out of a metal body in terms of overall construction, so they're really made with high-quality components. The Asus ZenWatch specifically has a really nice stainless steel finish on the back, which definitely adds to the premium look and feel of the device, even though it costs a little bit less than the Moto 360 and about $100 less than the LG. And all of them are water-resistant. Specifically, the Moto 360 and the LG are IP67 certified for both water and dust, and we have IP55 certification on the Asus ZenWatch. Now in terms of display, the ZenWatch does have the largest screen size out of the other two, measuring about 1.63 inches versus about 1.56 inches on the Moto 360 and about 1.3 inches on the LG. Now thankfully the LG and the Asus ZenWatch both have an OLED screen, so that's going to be beneficial in terms of both the overall user experience of colors and whites being very vibrant and things like that, but also regions that don't need to be lit up are completely off, which is definitely going to help getting you the best battery life possible out of those two smartwatches. Now, in terms of resolution, the Moto 360 measures about 320 by 290 versus both the ZenWatch and the LG have the exact same resolution of 320 by 320. Additionally, when we take a look at the internal specifications, both the LG and the ZenWatch are identical, basically having a Snapdragon 800 quad-core CPU that is clocked at about 1.2 2 gigahertz. They both have 512 megabytes of RAM. Now, the Moto 360 is using a Texas Instruments single core processor that is clocked on 1 gigahertz with 512 megabytes of RAM. Now, in terms of responsiveness, both the LG and the Asus deliver a very fluid experiences using Google Android Wear with no real stuttering or lag of any kind that I've experienced, versus the Moto 360 is quite laggy at times, freezing up on several occasions, and that CPU is certainly quite underpowered of what you need to run Google Android Wear in terms of my experience. Now, the only real major feature the Asus ZenWatch is missing compared to the other two is an optical heart rate monitor, so it really depends upon if you need one or not. But if you do a lot of exercising and things like that and want to monitor your heart rate on your day-to-day routine, that feature is certainly missing on the Asus ZenWatch, although it can still record your day-to-day health-related activities in terms of walking and running and things like that. Now, probably one of the most biggest issues I have with the Asus ZenWatch is the placement of the power button, which is probably one of the worst designed power buttons I've ever seen in any electronic consumer device. It's basically right on the back of the device. It's a tiny little button that is very hard to press, and you have to hold it down for 4 seconds to actually turn on the device or to power it off. So compared to the other two, which have a nice large button on the side of the watch, it's definitely a detriment to the overall kind of decision-making skills of Asus in designing this watch, but thankfully you rarely have to use it. Now, in terms of custom straps, there are a lot of different options of replacing the straps on each device, although I do have to really give it to the Asus ZenWatch for making it so easy to swap out different straps, because it basically has a quick release system for you to exchange and swap out different strap styles and colors. Now, one thing I do like additionally about the Asus ZenWatch compared to the other two is that it has a custom clasp design, which is using a mechanical interface that is a locking system based on a mechanical design. So there are 2 buttons on the clasp itself. They have to press and it releases the lock for you to open the actual watch itself and get your hand out of there. So therefore, it's a lot faster getting your watch on and off on the Asus compared to the more traditional methods that we find in the Moto 360 and the LG G Watch R. Now, in terms of battery life, from my experience, the Moto 360 is probably one of the weaker Android Wear devices and smart devices out there in terms of battery performance. You barely get about a day out of it, most of the time under 12 hours of usage, especially due to the fact that it has a traditional LCD display, which uses a little bit more power, and a smaller 320 milliamp hour battery. So I expect to get something around 12 to 15 hours of usage. Now, the LG has the biggest battery in this lineup of 410 milliamp hours. You can easily get 2 days to 2.5 days out of it, no problem, versus we have 360 milliamp hour batteries on the Asus ZenWatch, and I had no problem getting at least 2 days, a day and a half if I was really using the watch quite a bit. So they're all pretty good in terms of battery performance, but certainly the Moto 360 is the weakest in this category. But on that, guys, that's really it. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of the overall comparison. Which Google Android Wear device do you think is the best that is available right now? I actually have a full-on comparison between all of the major smartwatches that came out in 2014, and we're kind of discussing the kind of best overall feature sets of each smartwatch to see which one is right for you. So definitely check out that video if you haven't already, but thanks so much for your support again. We'll see you later. Take care.